Greetings. We're continuing our work with the JuiceBot case study using the AnyLogic model that you see in front of you. Just to refresh, there are two servers providing approximately normal service with a mean of 40 seconds and a standard deviation of 20 seconds in the current setup. And there's separate lines of customers forming in front of each server. Customers arrive in each line in a Poisson process with an arrival rate of 65 per hour. We've previously analyzed the current setup and the effect of training the JuiceBot servers. In this clip, we're going to consider pooling the work of the servers, having customers form a separate line, a single line served by both servers instead of having separate lines per server. And then after we've done that, we're going to then consider the effects of that plus the training. The training reduces the standard deviation of the service times by 60% from 20 seconds down to 8 seconds. It doesn't change the mean, but it does improve their consistency. So let us start by analyzing what happens if we go from the current setup with the separate lines, arrivals at 65 per hour, lump them together. So I'm going to go into my customer arrivals. Instead of having separate arrivals at the rate of 65, I'm going to put it all together. Now, it just turns out, this is theoretically true, that if I merge two Poisson processes, that I get a Poisson process. So this new process, single line forming, is now Poisson arrivals with an intensity of 130 per hour. I'm going to go into my servers here and change this from 1 to 2. So we're lumping the servers together in a pool, and they're going to serve this line. And I want to go into the juice prep because we previously changed the standard deviation from 20 down to 8, but I want to back that out of the analysis. Now I want to look at doing the pooling in isolation without the training. We'll come back and consider the training in addition to the pooling, but in our first go round, we're just going to consider the effect of the pooling. So I think we're ready to get this done. I'm going to just run this one time for you. You would have to do this multiple times, as I've mentioned before, to get reasonable estimates of what the waiting time in the line and the system are. So we can just fast forward through this. And I want to just verify that I'm getting what I've seen in the past. Yes, this looks about right. So markedly better than any of the scenarios we've seen thus far. Certainly better than the current setup, the original setup, and then better than doing just the training. The training cut us down from 67,107 to about 52,92, somewhere around that ballpark. Now we're at about 28,68. Okay, so that is pooling in isolation. Now let us consider pooling and the effect of the training. So as you may suspect, all I'm going to have to do to get that to go is to change for the juice prep block, change that standard deviation for the service times if a human server is involved. And in fact, that is the only type of server available because, as you can see, there are 2 human servers and there are no JuiceBots, currently no JuiceBots. So I believe we're good to go. You can see I have the 8 sitting here now, and we can run this one. Okay, so now it was at about 28,68. Now we've got even more benefit. We're down to about 23,62, 63. Again, you'd have to run this a number of times to firm up your estimates. So this is the most attractive option to date. Now, I want to analyze what happens if we have a JuiceBot in isolation. Our original setup was analyzing a human in isolation. I want to analyze a JuiceBot in isolation. So I'm going to go back and set it up so that I have just 65. Let me go back to my model. I've got it set up so that the intensity is 130. What I'm looking to analyze now is if I had just a bot serving a Poisson arrival stream with intensity of 65 per hour. So I'm going to take my human servers out of play, make the capacity 0. I'm going to make give us 1 JuiceBot, and we're going to run this. So I guess the best comparison here would be between this setup, which is really an MD1 queue, and the original setup, which is an MG1 queue. So let's see how this plays out. Now, notice that the mean service time has gone from being 40 seconds to 50 seconds. It is true that it's deterministic and there's no variation here, but it's a big drop in the mean, a big decline, a big deterioration in the mean, and you can see that really hurts us. So even though there's no variation in service times, the waiting time in the line and the system are significantly higher at 236 and 286. Okay, so now one of the challenging things with queuing theory was to figure out how performance would play out if we had a JuiceBot and a human served together. And what's going to happen, as you can see from the analysis we've just done, that the JuiceBot isn't a very attractive line. So folks are not going to stay in that line. If we had separate lines forming, then folks are going to jockey to the other line, to the shorter line, because the human is outperforming the JuiceBot. Okay, so I want to analyze the situation now where we have a single line served by a human and a JuiceBot. So I'll go back to my customer arrivals. Let's try in the actual model. I'm putting a single line together. Arrival intensity on that is 130 per hour. We have 1 server that is human, 1 JuiceBot server. There it is. And then as far as the service times are concerned, I'm going to just assume that this is a trained human. I mean, I could analyze it with normal 20,40, which would be an untrained human server. Let's say we've done the training, or that person has done the training. So if the human is providing the service time is approximately normal with a mean of 40 and a standard deviation of 8. And if it's a bot, then it's going to have a service time of constant 50 seconds. Okay, let's run this guy. I'm going to step through this one just a little bit so you can see that both servers are in fact operating here. You can see I've got the 1, and you can see the human is pretty heavily occupied, and they're both roughly the same. The occupancy is about the same. And you can see I've got estimates forming here, and let's accelerate this and see where we end up. Okay, and now we're just going to accelerate to the end. So we have 50,000 customers to estimate the waiting times on. And there you have it, approximately 41 seconds in the line for this 2 server, 1 human, 1 bot setup. Time in the system overall, 85 seconds. So definitely worse than having 2 human servers with 1 line and training, but perhaps this could work. That's it. Hope you enjoyed.